Okay, that's why we decided to combine finances. $1,200 every weeks, like $22,000 of debt combined. Pay off my car. If you don't use them the way I use them, they can be a tool. So I have considered getting a different job. Hi guys, welcome back to another Debt Diaries video. I can't believe we are filming one of these. It has been far too long, just saying. It has been so long since I have filmed one of these videos. I'm so excited to be filming them again. If you are new here, hi, my name is Jill. I am 24. And I am in debt, and I like to talk about it on the internet. I like to not normalize it and to say, hey, you should go and do this, but to make those who are in the same boat not feel so alone and give everybody encouragement, including myself, to keep going on this journey to get out of debt. I have been fighting with my debt journey for a very long time. You can go back and check out the playlist if you want to hear like my backstory of how I got into debt, going from like paying it off to getting back into debt and then moving so much that like I haven't even been able to pay anything, to present day 2025 and what my plan for my debt payoff is. It is after work and I'm a bit of a mess right now, as is my debt payoff journey, so very fitting for this video. It is getting dark. It's gloomy as shit outside in beautiful sunny Florida. I am saving my light for when it gets really dark. Bear with me here. My camera batteries have been like dying nonstop. I need to buy new ones, but you know, I'm in debt. All my finances have been going towards debt. And we're just gonna talk about debt today. I'm gonna share with you my plan for 2025, how it's changed since what I was doing last year, what I'm doing differently now. We're gonna talk about like work. We're going to talk about like not moving. My circumstances have changed a lot since I started filming these videos. When I first started filming these videos and like really took my debt payoff seriously, I was working seasonally in hospitality, living in staff housing, so I got cheaper housing because I moved every 6 months for work. So I had cheaper housing at the time. I was making more money. Then when I had to move, I was making a lot less money, but still paying for like cheaper housing. I just wasn't making anything. To now moving where I am now, mind you, the moving is expensive. It's not cheap. I have now changed circumstances. I currently have a full-time job in hospitality. We are a dual income household. We've recently combined finances. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about all my debt, not just credit card debt at this point, all my debt across the board, and just my plan for my finances really, but specifically my debt payoff because it's still the priority. It's almost 6 p.m. I have a massive coffee because I feel like I'm gonna need it for this video. If you're new here, I've done payday routine videos. I've talked about my debt payoff, when I was getting out of debt, when I got back into debt. I've spoken about my debt payoff journey for so long now. However, I have not filmed a video like this in months because Tyron and I recently combined finances, and I didn't know how to talk about that. I did not know how to speak about that. I didn't want to speak about that. It felt so personal. If you are new here, I was raised by a single mom, and I spoke about this here and there, but we never had money when I was growing up, so I'm used to seeing debt, and I've never seen anybody combine finances and it be successful. In my head, it was actually really scary, and it was really scary to trust someone else to do this with. We're gonna talk about all this, so I will leave the timestamps on the screen in case you want to skip to like certain parts of the video. We're just gonna kind of get right into it. I can like partially see out of this eye. I think I got like something, my like sunscreen that I put on my face, I think it got on my contact and like it's all blurry and it's like freaking me out right now. I'm a mess. Everything's gonna be a mess. My ring light is here, half charged. My camera batteries are half charged. My eyeball, like, I just got out of work. I've been working since 8 a.m. It's now 6 p.m. I'm in my sweatpants and we're just gonna hang out and talk about debt. What better way to do that than like this setting? I feel like it's become such like a normal thing for me to share. At first it was so hard for me to talk about, and now I'm just like, it's a thing. So many people go through it. We're working through it. So let's talk about it. I don't know if you guys want to hear like how much debt I'm in. I'm not sure if like that's why you clicked on this video, but that's not really the point of this video. My credit cards are still maxed out. They're at 11 or 12 grand right now. And you're probably like, how the fuck have you not paid this off? Or how have you gone back into more debt? Guys, between the moving from Colorado to here, gap in paycheck, getting a new apartment, having to buy furniture, it has not been an inexpensive transition of life by any means. But now that we are in one place, we're actually doing pretty well, and I'm excited to share it. And you're probably like, well, what do you mean? How are you doing well if you haven't paid off your credit cards? Well, let's talk about the combining finances thing, why we decided to do that, and what the setup kind of is for us. I'm not going to get too much into it. I really didn't want to talk about this at first, and that's why I hadn't filmed this video or any video related to my debt payoff, because I couldn't film it without sharing. Like, I'm not gonna like lie about my numbers, you know? Like, I couldn't say like, oh, I'm making more money, when that's just, it's just not true. So I couldn't do that. It just wasn't the circumstances. So I wanted to like talk about it when I was ready to. And I didn't for so long because Tyron is not on YouTube. It's not his thing. This is my thing. Yes, it's our business, but I also share this and I like to. And I think it can be really helpful to some people if you are with someone that you trust 100% without a doubt, and that you can rely on, and that treats you equally and fairly, especially in this situation. Because I know a lot of people don't recommend combining finances because of things going south, and that was my fear. That is why I didn't want to combine finances for so long, was because I was afraid of the what ifs. Like, even though that was never like a thought in my head, like Tyron has never given me a reason to get like, when it comes to money, but for some reason I was still very nervous. I had never seen it done. I've always seen a single mom who struggled with money, and I was like, well, at least I know I can get out of it because I saw her do it. So I was like, I don't need to do that. Moving to Florida really opened my eyes a bit. We now work full-time jobs here. There's less moving now. We are in one place now. We have furniture. We are like very consistent now. We don't have like, our finances aren't fluctuating every 6 months anymore. We're only on month 3 of this lifestyle right now, but it's already like improving so much. We kind of got to a point where we were like, okay, we can either continue on the track we're going down where we have separate finances, separate goals, the same goals, but like not really like contributing completely to them, because we are at a point where everything is combined. Our phones, car now, because we have one car. We sold Tyron's car, so now we have one car. What did I say? Rent, phones, apartment, and then any other spending. So anything else we do, we're pretty like intertwined, whether if it's like groceries or like even like social settings or date nights, like it all comes from one of us. And we've been together now so long where it's like it just evens out, and it's to a point where it's like it's just easier to keep it all in one place to account for it all better than to be separate with it, because I make less money than him right now. So me trying to hit my goal on my own is honestly holding us back. And and it's not bad. I'm not saying it in like a negative bad way, but like he's been making more. Combining finances ultimately will help both of us because it will get my stuff paid off faster, as well as his. He had a few things coming into the joining of the account. I feel like it's not my place to say too much about that. I'll say we had the biggest thing and the highest interest thing was the car loan that he had. He ended up selling the car, but he still had like some left to pay on it. I think it was like around 10 grand around the time we were leaving Colorado. So since then we have actually paid that off over the last few months, which is amazing. And that was the priority because that was the highest interest. My credit cards specifically don't really have much interest on them, so them kind of just sitting there, it's not like helping, but it's not hindering the whole operation, if that makes sense. So that's kind of why, that's ultimately why we decided to combine finances, because at the end of the day, we have shared goals, we have a shared lifestyle, we have shared everything. Like everything we do is shared. Like if I'm not paying for it, he is, like, and vice versa. It's not like one of us is paying for something more than the other. One of us has more things happening outside of the two of us right now more than the other. I think once we will like start making more money and growing financially, the money will then be spread out to other things. I don't know what that will entail just yet, but we don't make enough where it's like we have excess. Like everything is going towards something. And we plan that out every paycheck that we get paid. So that is ultimately why we decided to combine finances. Like I said, right now we don't really have crazy budgets for anything like socially, travel wise, separately. Like I don't have like personal travel plans really that I do, or I don't have like personal, I'm trying to like really I really need to emphasize, this is because I feel as though we are in a very healthy relationship where we can communicate and not one of us is in charge and the other doesn't have access to it, if that makes sense. Because that is when I would not ever think of doing this, is when one of us, me or him, did not have access, did not have knowledge, and was not a part of the financial decisions. That's a no-no for me personally, and are good in that regard. For me, it was like, okay, let's try it out, and if it doesn't work, we can just not do it. And we both said that we can just like go back to how it was before, but it's actually working. And it honestly, it's relieved a lot of stress because it doesn't feel like I'm in this alone anymore. Doing it with someone else, like we have the same goals and we're working towards the same thing. So that's why we decided to. I'm not saying it's the right decision for everybody, because it's not. I'm not saying it is. It's just the right decision for us and our circumstances. I don't think it's good for everybody. I don't think everybody's circumstances require you to do this. Should we put a light on, guys? Now that we get into our next topics, maybe I will. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, hello? There we go. Okay. It's dark. It's getting dark out. Okay, now you can really see me. Okay, that's why we decided to combine finances. Let's talk about credit cards, loans, debt, what the plan is for that. So I don't have a step-by-step timeline plan because our finances are always fluctuating. When you work in hospitality, especially in restaurants, you often do not receive the same paycheck if you get tips. Every week it's different, every month it's different, so it's very difficult to plan out what things are gonna look like. If you make consistent income, you can definitely plan this out more and better. I make consistent income right now, so it's really easy for me to say, okay, I know I'm bringing home, this is disgusting and I don't get paid enough, $1,200 every 2 weeks. Like, I can sit there and say, I know this is happening, so we can guarantee we will have $1,200 in the account. Now, when it comes to him, he works in a restaurant, and when you work in F&B and you are serving, typically, depending on where you work, you can make tips. He works in a tipping restaurant. So, obviously, that is gonna be affected by how many guests will come in, how many servers are on, depending if it's a tip pool or if it's not. In our situation, it is. How many people are working, how many people you have to tip out, what the point system is in the tip pool. And then it gets into how many guests are dining, what are they buying. A lot of times when it's a tip pool, it will be an automatic gratuity, and that's what he has. So it's guaranteed he's going to make a tip. It's just how much is the question, and that just depends on every check of the table. So his money is always different, so it's very hard to plan the exact amount, especially right now, because we were going through a bit of like a roller coaster with his job, because he just officially started like this past month being consistent in one restaurant. Before he was in a different restaurant, then he was going through training in another one, and now he's officially in where he's working. So I think over the next month we're gonna get a better grasp on like the actual numbers, so we can like see it. This past like couple paychecks, it was kind of hard to gauge because they were always different. So I don't have an exact end date. I don't have an exact like every week this is exactly how much I'm putting towards debt. No, it's gonna be, what do the bills look like that paycheck, what do we have to put other money towards, and then like how much can we pay off debt and what are we paying off. That's how like our paychecks kind of work right now. That is like what it's going to be consistently. Now, as I said, I do make a consistent amount of money, so I usually know what I'm getting, unless like I make commissions, which isn't often. The only time I'd really make more money for the most part is if I'm overtime or get commissions. Commission is available in my role, but it is not guaranteed or that often, if that makes sense. So I don't rely on it. I don't think about it. If it's extra, great. If not, and I don't even think I've really made any. I think I made like this tiniest bit since starting, because it's kind of like a side role thing in my job. It's not like the main thing I do. Like, I'm not in sales, if that makes sense. That's how the paychecks work. Now we're going to talk about like the debt, the order of which we're paying things off. My stuff is not the priority in this exact moment. It's about to be actually. We have an Amex Platinum. We use that for travel and for like pretty much everything. And Tyron also had like a couple other credit cards just in general. He actually didn't really use them, but he he has them, just from over the years. I feel like we've like collected them, and now it's time to get rid of them. We're gonna talk about that later too. But then, like I said, his loan. We have one main credit card that we have used for like all our travel, and then the loan. So the loan is officially paid off. We officially paid that off this past paycheck. After 2 months of working consistently, the loan is paid off. That 10 grand loan is gone. So combined from just like debt, like credit card and I guess this loan, we probably had about like $22,000 of debt combined. Maybe a bit more actually, maybe 24 because of the other credit cards. The big loan is paid. I think actually the Amex is paid. I think that's paid off as well. And now we move on to my credit cards. I'm so excited. So after not this paycheck, but the following paycheck, we're gonna now move on to my credit cards. I have about $12,000 of credit card debt. Not because I've been spending on it. And you're like, oh my God, it's gone up. How's it gone up? Interest. I don't have that much interest, but I have a little bit of interest. So that is the next plan of action. I think just between all our normal bills, car payment, rent, phone, any other thing we have to spend on, I think we will have everything, like my cards, paid off. I'm gonna say by April, and it's like almost end of January. I'm gonna say April because I want to say March, but that feels too like high hope, so I'm pushing it to April. Then hopefully we will be like credit card debt free. We want to also pay off my car. That is our shared car right now. I love the car. It's in great condition, brand new, 2023 Jeep Compass, leased, and I want to buy it out. So we would really like to do that next, because to not have a car payment and to not have to pay $700 for a car payment with insurance included in that, don't worry, that's not just my car payment, that's car and insurance. It's still a lot though, still a lot. The goal is to not have a car payment, like to have an extra $500 some in my pocket. That would be amazing. So that is the next goal after paying off our credit cards and debts like that. As well as our phones. We had, I guess, finance, is that the right word? We were just paying off our phones monthly. I think we have like maybe like $100 or $200 left of that. But we would like to switch to a cheaper phone plan. I'm looking into phone plans currently. I've heard Mint, and a few other ones that people really seem to like that are very economically friendly. So if you have any ideas, leave them down below. I also wanted to mention what we're doing with the credit cards after they're paid off. I forgot to mention this. We are going to keep the Amex Platinum card. Love that thing. It is wonderful for traveling, especially going back and forth between the US and Cape Town. I feel like you get a lot of benefits with it, and it makes it so convenient when traveling with the lounges and not having to like pay for food. But I would like to start looking into more travel related credit cards, and you're probably like, how the fuck are you in debt and thinking about more credit cards? If you don't use them the way I use them, they can be a tool. That's the thing. It's like they can actually be a great tool. You can get points back. Points and miles can go towards other trips and travel, and they're an incredible tool if you learn how to use them correctly. Now, am I gonna be the one to teach you that? Fuck no. No. But I will just throw it out there as we're chatting. I am going to get rid of all of my credit cards. Don't need any of them, really. Like, I don't need them. I would like to have maybe one as like a backup emergency. Probably my travel card that I have through my bank. And I think maybe that one is the one I will keep, and the rest I'm going to get rid of. Actually, I might keep, I have an American Express, but it's one of like the Sky Miles ones, so it's like not really like, kind of just there. We're gonna still navigate the Amex situation, but all the other cards pretty much are gonna be gone, and if I do have one on hand, I just won't use it. It's just gonna be for emergencies, like really crazy emergencies. There's no other choice. That's kind of my timeline, what I'm doing with the credit cards. Like I said, April should be when I have my card paid. Now, for the other things, I would hope by like end of year. I'm not stressing too much on the car payment as much as I would like that gone. The next priority, earlier I said the next priority is the car. I meant the next priority for like paying off debt is the car and then my student loans. But those are kind of gonna be just like there. I'm not stressing about them just yet. I want them gone. I'm gonna get them paid off. But our next big goal is really to buy a house in Cape Town. I've spoken about this before. That is kind of going to be the next big financial goal. So after like this debt is like the debt that we've been talking about now for a year is paid off, money's going to start going towards buying a house and investing in a home in South Africa. Oh, and if you're new, you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Tyron is from Cape Town, South Africa, and the goal is to own property there and here. And then after that, we'll go from there, whether it's a home in Rhode Island, whether it's paying off the car and student loans. I will be doing that this year. And then one last thing I wanted to touch on, it's a little I've considered getting a different job, and I'm just throwing this out there because I think this is really important when talking about your debt payoff journey. 2 ways I have learned to get rid of your debt. It is increasing your income, so like your spending and the day-to-day is the same, everything you do is the same and does not increase, but your income does, so you have more money to pay off the debt or to go towards those day-to-day spendings. The other option is to decrease your income and keep your income the same. We have decreased our income to next to nothing. We have the basic subscriptions. I mean, I could get rid of I could get rid of Netflix, I could get rid of Prime, like please. I could, but I'm not. So for the most part, we don't spend on dining out really. Here and there, you'll see we go on some date nights in the vlogs, we see some friends, but usually that is planned for. We usually will like budget that in for the week if we know we're gonna have plans or want to possibly have plans. We also have a Costco membership because that has helped us save massively on groceries, specifically meat. We bulk buy all that at Costco for the month. We spend a couple hundred on it, and then all the other stuff is extra, so that's like extra money, but like specifically the food shopping, that has gone down a lot, so we've decreased that spending. We don't really travel right now because we can't afford to do so just yet. Also, of course, the best option would be to increase your income and decrease your expenses so you have like a bigger gap, but that's not the most real. I mean, it can be realistic, but like, so I have considered getting a different job to increase my income. I have spoken to different people about options. I am not gonna get too much into it just yet. God forbid my digital footprint bites me in the ass, and I have looked into other opportunities. I think that is completely okay to say. I go back and forth with this. My job is fine. I've spoken about this before. It's not my favorite thing. It contributes to the income for the goals, but it's nothing crazy. I could make so much more money elsewhere. That's just the truth. So I have considered it because here's the thing. I always say for my jobs, if I am not making money and it is not contributing to my growth, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? I need to get out of there. And I am not making more money, and I am growing a little, but there's not a specific direction what I'm doing is currently taking me. So I think that's really important to consider when you have goals. So I'm just throwing that out there that I have spoken to people, I have thought about options, and I'm considering. And if I do decide to do something different, it should speed up all of these processes. That is my plan for my debt payoff. This is a very random video, very chatty sit down. No real like numbers I'm showing. I don't think that's just not this kind of video for me. I'm sorry the lighting changed multiple times. I feel like that's just really like a good example of how my debt payoff journey is going right now. It's a bit all over the place, but it's still getting done. Just like this video, a bit all over the place, but it's still getting done. I always conclude these videos with like a final little message, but I feel like it's extra special in my heart today because I think I've gone past a place of like, I'm no longer embarrassed by my debt anymore. And I just want to remind you all, if you feel like you're alone, you're not. So many people are in debt, and if you are just slowly, even if it's like a couple $100s a paycheck, or not even, just whatever you're doing to slowly contribute to your goal of paying it off, you are making progress. However you got there, it's not important. We are here now, so what do? How do we get out of it? How do we keep moving forward? How do we make a better life for ourselves? And I just want you to know you are not alone. And it feels like you're trapped. It feels like you cannot get out. You can't do anything. Nothing can become of something. You feel like nothing can become of you sometimes. And I'm talking from personal experience here. You will pay off your debt. You will do that. You will have a better life for yourself. You will break that generational wealth issue trauma that you have, because a lot of us have it. Over time, give yourself some grace, but still be honest with yourself. That's the big thing too, is like looking at yourself and saying, okay, I'm unhappy with this. What can I do to make changes? And then make those changes. Nothing's gonna change until something's changed. Especially with finances, I always think about this. You're not making a different decision. You're still making a decision to like keep doing the same thing. Got this. We got this. You are gonna see me pay off my debt this week. Oh, big manifestation right there. I wish. But you are gonna see me pay off my debt this year. I'm so excited to continue sharing this journey. I'm gonna see how I can better navigate this subject on YouTube now that we've combined our finances. Just give me some grace here, please, because I just need to figure out how to do it while respecting someone else's privacy. That's all. Hey, you got this. Make the changes that are necessary. Keep pushing forward. If you have to say no to things for a while, you're gonna have to say no. Is it gonna suck? Yeah. Will you get through it? Yes, you'll get through it. So with that, good luck to all of you on your debt payoff journey. You are going to do amazing. Let's get 2025 going by getting our debt paid off, by working towards our financial goals, by continuing to grow, being a bit more responsible financially. With that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next vlog. I think a vlog is coming after this, not a sit down. All right, bye guys.